When I first got to Congress, I wasn't sure I made the right decision. The Chaos Caucus couldn't elect a speaker, and the Oversight Committee was unhinged. As I approached Vice President Harris for our official photo, she turned to me and asked, "What's wrong?" Mind you, we'd never met, but she saw right through me. She saw the distress, and the most powerful woman in the world wiped my tears and listened.
And welcome back to GMA3. That's Texas Democratic Representative Jasmine Crockett delivering an emotional speech at this year's Democratic National Convention. She is now a national co-chair for the Harris-Walz campaign.
Representative Crockett is also a spokesperson and panelist at this week's 53rd annual Congressional Black Caucus Foundation Legislative Conference, a bipartisan gathering of prominent leaders, policymakers, and community members discussing solutions for progress and equity. Congresswoman Crockett joins us now from Washington, D.C. Nice to see you, Representative. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Good afternoon to both of you.
You know, there are just 52 days now until the election. One of the biggest issues on Americans' minds is the economy. Inflation has slowed down dramatically, but families are still paying about $1,100 more every month on the same goods and services as they were 3 years ago. How does Vice President Harris plan to address this, the number one issue or one of the top issues on voters' minds in this final stretch up to the election?
Yeah, I would definitely argue that it absolutely is one of the issues that I hear about as I've traveled the country on the campaign trail. Listen, we're all hurting. And I think having a commander-in-chief that understands that that pain is being felt everywhere is what matters most. And so with Vice President Harris, someone who understands that the economy is more than just the unemployment numbers, but it boils down to things such as the cost of housing and whether or not people are able to buy new homes and start to build that generational wealth that we all hope that we will have an opportunity to build in the land of the free and the land of opportunity. And so what she wants to do is make sure that there's a $25,000 down payment assistance for those first-time home buyers. For those that want to start their own businesses, she wants to make sure that you have an opportunity at $50,000 worth of startup capital. This is someone that understands that there are always people at the top that are always doing fine, and then there's certain people that are always struggling, and she wants to make sure that the middle class begins to grow.
Congresswoman, as you know, Donald Trump has already said that he won't be debating Kamala Harris for a second time, but the vice president says she wants another debate. Why?
Yeah, I mean, if I was Donald Trump, I wouldn't want to suffer that type of beat down twice in one election either. But listen, the vice president stays ready, so she never has to get ready. I think that it's another opportunity for her to go ahead and maybe even delve even deeper into some of her policy issues. And maybe she's hoping that this is a guy that will recognize that she's not the one to be played with, and maybe he would actually take it more seriously. Either way, she would win the debate. But I think it's about showcasing the fact that she does have the strength to run the greatest nation in the world, as well as the policy chops, even if he decides that he's actually going to try to be prepared this time. So I understand why he doesn't want to do it, and I understand why she does.
What about another interview? She's done one since becoming the nominee. Will she do more?
That part I don't know, but I'm going to tell you that my opinion was that she didn't have to do any of them, because the reality is that you've got one candidate that loves to sit at Mar-a-Lago and invite the cameras to him, and then he talks about whatever it is that he wants to talk about. You have another candidate that has been taking her fight to the people. She has probably visited more cities than he has, even though she's been in this race for a shorter amount of time. I believe that it's more important that we actually take our message to the people, and ultimately, if it's going to be a matter of the media, I think that it does come down to the fact that we need to make sure that it is going to be a side-by-side versus her sitting down, her being questioned with real questions, and him being questioned with real questions and no follow-up as he sits on certain news outlets that refuse to actually dig into the issues that matter most to the American people.
Congresswoman Crockett, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.